Now, this part's the most shocking. You edited the movie. You took over the movie with your editors and filmed it all. So what is this thing you don't have? She keeps, the evidence. She has no evidence, and she knows it.
What if Blake Lively's picture-perfect America's sweetheart image was nothing more than a well-crafted illusion? In a shocking legal battle with Justin Baldoni, explosive court documents have surfaced unveiling a version of Blake the public has never seen. These jaw-dropping revelations could append everything we thought we knew about her. As the courtroom clash intensifies, one thing's for sure: you'll never look at her the same way again. Stay tuned, this drama is just getting started.
Rewind and go through the update dates of the Blake Lively case. Yes, she is set to be deposed next week. So it's been revealed that she will be deposed next Thursday, the 17th, in a new court filing. That's the date that's been planned. Brian Friedman, Baldoni's attorney, has said he wants to see how consistent her testimony is with the actual facts. Now, Lively's lawyer, Mike Gottlieb, the same one who served me, by the way, previously said, of course, Lively will testify in the trial, stated for next year's March 2026. Now, the date has been revealed as the discovery process continues, and Lively's lawyers served subpoenas to two publicists connected to Baldoni who are not parties in the legal battle. She also went to many third parties, including myself. But the publicist's attorney filed a motion for extension asking for an extra week to produce documents. One email sent on July 2nd that is exhibited in the filing that Lively's depo is set for July 17th. Reps for Lively didn't respond to People's request for confirmation of the date. People's also out to Baldoni's reps. But as we all know, the accusations in the trial set for March, Lively's lawyer told People back in May the ultimate moment for a plaintiff's story to be told is at trial. We expect that to be the case here with Lively, so we would, of course, expect her to be a witness at her trial. Of course, she's going to testify. Now, Brian Friedman previously spoken about his plans for deposing Lively as they attempt to refute her allegations, and he told TMZ on June 10th that he was planning to do it. Asked for his strategy, he said, I'm going to ask her questions under penalty of perjury. She's going to have to provide evidence, and she's going to have to provide the truth of the stories. We all have the videotape, all the footage. We have, the text messages, we have the emails. We're going to see how consistent her testimony is with the actual facts of what transpired. In that same interview, he said Baldoni is a person who wants to be vindicated. And that's all he cares about. He added that Baldoni knows who he is, he knows what he's done, he knows what he hasn't done, and he wants the truth to come out, and he wants that to happen in an appropriate way. Of course, that's the plan. He's waiting for his day in court where he can speak out to tell the truth.
Blake Lively has long been hailed as Hollywood's golden girl, the flawless blend of elegance and relatability. She's the A-list actress who never seems out of touch, the red carpet darling who still laughs at herself, and the doting wife and mother who shares just enough to keep fans enchanted. Over the years, she's carefully curated a persona that feels both aspirational and approachable, earning her a spot as the media's beloved girl next door and the public symbol of modern-day perfection. But behind every perfect image, there are often fractures, and now those cracks are beginning to show. From her breakout role as Serena van der Woodsen in Gossip Girl to her viral Instagram banter and designer-clad appearances, Blake has masterfully shaped how the world sees her. Every interview, every public appearance, and every caption seems calculated. Her profile has remained remarkably clean, with barely a trace of scandal, almost too clean for a business built on controversy. And while charm and talent can get you far in Hollywood, sustaining such a pristine image for this long takes something more. A strategy built on control, timing, and precision. So is the Blake Lively we know and love a genuine icon or a carefully managed performance? This isn't a new question, but it's one that's gaining new weight. Over time, small moments have stirred suspicion. It's like when she awkwardly struggled to explain her stance on women's rights after praising her husband, Ryan Reynolds, as a feminist icon, or when her public image of having it all clashed with insider reports describing her as obsessively focused on controlling her narrative. Fans brushed these off. But skeptics took no stand, started to wonder if her charm was less organic, and more rehearsed. To her defenders, Blake's philanthropy and cheerful public persona are proof of authenticity. Those surprise hospital visits, the feel-good interview moments, her ever-present smile, all of it reinforces the image of a star with heart. But in Hollywood, good deeds can also be good optics. Philanthropy and charm build a persona just as effectively as talent does. For some, these acts are heartwarming. For others, they're part of a brand. And that leads us to the present, where the perfect image is being tested like never before. The legal showdown with actor-director Justin Baldoni isn't just another celebrity disputes, a direct threat to the image Blake has spent years protecting. The lawsuit has uncovered court documents that suggest there may be more to her story than fans have been told. Allegations include behind-the-scenes power plays, suspicious delays in legal proceedings, and a troubling disconnect between her polished exterior and what's being said behind closed doors. Her legal team has reportedly asked for delays, citing, "The need to review footage from it ends with us." But sources close to the case say those excuses don't hold water. And in a court of law, image management means little when stacked against hard evidence. The veil of Hollywood. Gloss begins to slip when facts and testimonies enter the record. What's emerging from this courtroom? Drama isn't just a legal headache, it's a reckoning. A moment where Blake's highly polished persona is facing its first serious public challenge. The press can't spin a sealed court document. PR can't erase sworn testimony. And if even a fraction of what's being alleged is true, the public's perception of her could change overnight. For someone whose brand has been built on perfection, relatability, and carefully controlled exposure, this trial threatens to unravel it all. The Blake Lively we've come to admire may still exist, but the version we thought we knew might just be a role she's been playing all along. And now, for the first time, the mask is slipping.
Now, this part's the most shocking. Now, before we get there, what is this document? Let's summarize what's happening here. So this is a declaration of Kevin Fritz, one of Justin's lawyers, attorney for Baldoni. He submitted this document yesterday in partial opposition to Blake Lively and the Jones parties to motion to amend the case management plan and scheduling order to extend the deadline, the motion, as you can see here. So basically, he's explained that Lively's deposition was scheduled on June 23rd, but was moved until July 17th. As we knew, it was sort of supposed to be earlier, and then it got pushed already. This was all confirmed by documents that Fritz exhibited using emails, etc. Stephanie Jones was also given a notice on July 22nd. That's her publicist. I guess it was both their publicists at a certain point. But these are all things that were there. So he points out Jones parties claim they are not available to conduct the deposition on July 22nd. In response, I asked Jones parties to advise to when. Counsel has failed to propose any alternate dates. So she's, again, putting this off, and not in a good way at all. But, they expect all of us, including me, to just drop what we're doing and do it instantly. But meanwhile, they need more time. I need more time, Your Honor. I need more time, Your Honor. Make it make sense. Instead, Miss Lively's counsel alleges that they're in the middle of noticing and scheduling another third party for deposition. In other words, rather than scheduling the depositions, scheduling the depositions of Wayfair, counsel is busy allegedly subpoenaing various non-party content creators. And then if you click on over there, indeed, more celebrities caught in the fire. Me? I'm a celebrity. Perez, Candace, myself, YouTuber Annie Stignor. Her attorneys are claiming that they worked with the 300 influencers in a smear campaign. This is so defamatory. That's what the media is taking it as. We are working with them as in a smear campaign. That's some serious allegations. Implying that I did that. What I did.
The courtroom isn't just a place for legal arguments. Sits where public personas face their most brutal tests. For Blake Lively, this isn't merely a lawsuit. It's a battle for her credibility, her reputation, and the flawless image she's cultivated for over a decade. And with each passing day, that image appears to be cracking under the pressure. On the other side stands Justin Baldoni. Not just defending his case, but watching as damning revelations begin stacking up against Blake. What started as a legal dispute has quickly spiraled into something far more damaging. A public reckoning. The turning point came when court documents exposed glaring inconsistencies in Blake's narratives, specifically regarding her involvement with the film. It ends with us. Blake's legal team initially requested significant delays, claiming they needed to review a staggering 50,000 hours of raw footage before moving forward. To the average observer, that number alone sounded daunting, not absurd, and then came the bombshell. The production team stepped in to clarify. The actual footage totaled less than 150 hours, all filmed over a 37-day shoot. The discrepancy wasn't just a minor oversight, was a massive exaggeration. A misrepresentation that immediately raised red flags. Why would Blake's team inflate the number so drastically? Was it a clerical error or something more deliberate? That's when the questions shifted from confusion to suspicion. Blake's legal team had argued that she needed more time to refresh her memory by reviewing the footage, a claim meant to justify delaying her deposition. But according to court filings, that entire justification unraveled with one key detail. Blake Lively had already seen the footage because she edited it. Let that sink in. This wasn't a matter of unfamiliar content. This wasn't about getting reacquainted with hours of material. She had been intimately involved in shaping the film's final product. The excuse didn't just fall apart, it looked calculated. And once the court learned she'd been hands-on in post-production, any narrative suggesting she needed more time to catch up came off as pure deflection. The damage wasn't just legal, it was reputational. For someone long admired as poised, sincere, and transparent, this moment landed like a gut punch. The public had grown used to seeing Blake as in control, polished, but real. Yet now, she seemed evasive. And as these courtroom contradictions began to emerge, they reached beyond legal filings and began reshaping the public's perception. What made this situation even more alarming was the suggestion that this might only be the beginning. Insiders close to the case hint that there's more to come: emails, text messages, and internal communications that could deepen the disconnect between Blake's public statements and the behind-the-scenes reality. If these materials support what Baldoni's legal team suggests, we could be looking at the unraveling of one of Hollywood's most carefully maintained brands. And it's already happening in real time. One particularly jarring moment came during a courtroom exchange where Blake's team's exaggerated footage claim was directly confronted. Witnesses described how visibly tense Blake became as the truth unfolded, her composure slipping in front of the very people she's worked so hard to win over. It was a rare, unfiltered glimpse at a star who's built a career on keeping things perfectly in frame. Baldoni's legal team isn't letting these contradictions go unchecked. They've been methodical, using every inconsistency to their advantage. Slowly dismantling the foundation Blake has spent years reinforcing. The courtroom isn't just exposing legal vulnerabilities, it's pulling back the curtain on a curated image that may no longer be sustainable. And with more revelations reportedly on the way, one thing is certain: this trial isn't just a legal battle. It's a reckoning that could redefine everything we thought we knew about Blake Lively.
Ryan Reynolds would be deemed a distraction, and he's banned from the deposition, claims a source. I don't know how realistic that is. This is a legal fight, and he'd be a distraction. Absolutely true. But, could he be allowed to be at the deposition? Probably watched from afar. He wouldn't be able to say anything. He's not supposed to say anything, but he could be a witness. But apparently they're advising not. According to these sources, no. It's a legal fight. This isn't Hollywood. Source informed Rod Shutter that Lively's legal team has told Reynolds he's a distraction. He has to stay away from the deposition. The decision might have been difficult for Lively as she loves Reynolds and wanted to be there. However, after understanding its gravity, the actor reluctantly agreed to face the battle alone. She knows this is war and is ready to take things head on. This is something that is important to know. A lot of people are starting to make this clear that this is Ryan's fight, that he's pulling the strings. I don't know how true that is, but I've seen that source reported elsewhere. So is that the case? And do you think he's actually frustrated he's not going to be able to be there to listen? They'll have a transcript. They probably will film these depositions as well. I imagine both parties will request that.
Justin Baldoni's legal team didn't just defend their client, they launched a calculated takedown of Blake Lively's version of events, dismantling her story piece by piece with surgical precision. From the outset, attorney Brian Friedman made it clear this wasn't going to be a case driven by celebrity theatrics or emotional appeals. It was going to be about facts, about truth. "I'm going to ask her questions under penalty of perjury," Friedman told TMZ bluntly. "She's going to have to provide evidence and she's going to have to tell the truth." And he wasn't bluffing. Armed with emails, text messages, and video footage, Friedman's team didn't need Blake's words. They already had the receipts. One of his most powerful moves came when Blake's camp claimed they needed time to review a so-called 50,000 hours of it ends with us footage before Blake could sit for a deposition. To the public, the number sounded absurd. To the court, it quickly sounded dishonest because Baldoni's legal team came prepared. Filming records revealed the entire production lasted only 37 days, and the total footage, just under 150 hours nowhere, near the wildly inflated number Blake's team submitted. But the nail in the coffin wasn't the miscalculation. It was the revelation that Blake had already seen and edited portions of the footage. That's right. Court documents confirmed. She had direct involvement in the film's post-production process. So not only was the 50,000-hour claim false, it was knowingly false. What was intended as a stalling tactic backfired. Instead of buying time, it raised serious questions about Blake's integrity and her willingness to mislead the court. Friedman zeroed in on that point. He continuously pressed for Blake's deposition, emphasizing how her legal team had already delayed it from the original June 23rd date to July 17th. Observers began to wonder if these delays were carefully timed to control the narrative or avoid damning revelations becoming public too soon. But Friedman wouldn't let up. "We have the videotape, we have the footage, we have the text messages, we have the emails," he declared. And with every statement, he tightened the noose. There was no room for interpretation, just verifiable evidence contradicting the image Blake had projected inside the courtroom. The impact was palpable. Insiders described a noticeably tense Blake Lively, especially during discussions surrounding the footage, discrepancies, and her editorial role. Her polished composure, so familiar in public appearances, began to falter. One source noted a moment when a member of Baldoni's team directly cited her editing involvement, and Blake's demeanor reportedly shifted. Her confident facade cracked under pressure. But the strategy from Baldoni's team wasn't just about catching Blake in a lie. It was about asking the bigger question. Why? Why inflate the number of footage hours so drastically? Why file last minute? Delay motions when the evidence was already clear? Why pretend unfamiliarity with material she personally helped shape? The implication from Friedman's side was chilling. Blake wasn't just being evasive, she was actively trying to conceal the depth of her involvement. And the text messages between her team and the film's production staff may hold the clearest proof of that yet, suggesting not only awareness but coordination. Each new filing, each piece of evidence stripped away another layer of Blake's narrative. What began as a case centered on Baldoni's alleged on-set behavior transformed into a much deeper unraveling of Blake Lively's public persona. Her credibility, her honesty, her brand all suddenly up for debate. And the most staggering twist, Baldoni's team flipped the script entirely. What once looked like a case of Blake accusing Baldoni has evolved into a story about how far Blake may have gone to shape and possibly manipulate the truth. The courtroom is no longer just a venue for justice. It's become the stage where Blake's carefully constructed image is being torn down in real time, and the public, they've been watching every second. The media storm is building. Fans are divided. and Blake's polished, untouchable image may never be the same again.
This is the biggest reveal from this document. The excuse manufactured by Miss Lively and Miss Jones for refusing to proceed with their depots is that they need time to review footage of It Ends With Us film, citing unidentified public sources instead of someone with actual knowledge. Miss Lively's counsel claims that the film's footage could amount to roughly 50,000 hours of video. She literally is telling this to the judge. The court can take judicial notice that 50,000 hours is over 2,083 days, more than 5.5 years. I'm informed by the film's production that the footage consists less than 150 hours. I'm informed that the filming took place May 15th through June 9th, and then from the 5th to 7th, for a total of 37 days, 32 of which Miss Lively participated in. So they're trying to claim to the judge, we need more time. They've drowned us in 50,000 hours of footage. Lies. Absolute lies. They can't even make sense. It's just a blatant lie. If you had done a lick of homework for 10 seconds and done the math, you would know that's extreme, ridiculous, and untrue. But they don't want to focus on facts here, do they? Again, deflect, distract, all this stuff that they're doing. It's 32 days. So, yeah, good luck. Anyway, imagine how much it costs for that. All the legal team watch another 150 hours. Mind-blowing how much money is being wasted on this contest of hers of we're in the right. In any event, she does need to review the film footage prior to her. She does not need to review the film footage prior because she knows when and how she was subjected to the harassment during the filming. Factual. Why do you need film footage to remind you of what happened? You were there, you made the accusations, it's in your lawsuit. It's almost as if you want to see this footage to make up more allegations. She purposely subjected to this harassment during filming, so then, in fact, set forth these allegations in her detailed amended complaint. For good measure, it is undisputed that Miss Lively has seen the footage because she edited it. I love that as well. Not only were you there in real life so you know what happened, you edited the movie. You took over the movie with your editors and filmed it all. So what is the thing you don't have? She keeps, the evidence. She has no evidence, and she knows it.